Entitled mother-in-law nearly skips our wedding because she doesn't want to interact with grandkids. No one asked her to. Cast, ages guessed by how old they are now minus the 3 years since this story. Karen, our entitled mom, my mother-in-law, and the devil in disguise. Dave, father-in-law. Karen's husband, actually a really great guy. John, my husband. Lily, John's sister and mother of Leo, 13, Logan, 9, and Laura, 5. Mark, John's older brother and father of Matthew and Mary, 10 or 11. Wienerhead, the youngest of Karen's children, and the only one who's a total dickhead. I cannot stress enough how much this guy sucks. So my husband's mom, Karen, hates kids. I've met very few people who hate children as much as Karen does. She likes them once they're adults, which is why she loves all 4 of her children now, but 2 of her 4 kids have their own children, and she hates the grandkids. Before each of her children turned 18 she put a roof over their head, made sure they had food on the table and the lights were on, but she found them annoying/irritating when they acted their age, was always very quick to anger, and would only deal with them when they acted like adults. So my father-in-law, Dave, did the bulk of the parenting. He also did the shelter, food and warmth thing, while Karen was cold and distant. Once each kid turned 18 she'd take them on a one-on-one trip somewhere she wanted to go. My husband's sister went to Paris, his older brother to Rome, my husband to Athens, and his younger brother to New York, and gave them the exact same speech. They compared the speeches they got and it was near identical, about how she finds it hard to talk to kids because she's just too mature to understand them and about how badly she wanted to make up for lost time and become friends or something like that. John, Lily and Mark all wanted to cut contact with her as soon as they moved out but they love their dad too much to lose touch with him, and as Dave and Karen are still married they're kind of a package deal. Wienerhead remains his mother's loyal lapdog, willing to do whatever she says. Karen has trips planned for her grandkids when they're 18, which Leo, now 16, is already trying to get out of. She has gone one step further with the grandkids, in that while she was cold and distant with her children, but never went out of her way to be cruel to him, with the grandkids she is downright cruel. This ranges from telling them, shh, the adults are talking whenever they try to speak, to excluding them from monthly family dinners by picking adults-only restaurants or saying that she and Dave don't have enough room for them at their place, and getting Wienerhead to go along with it. I met John about 7 years ago when Karen tried to set me up with Wienerhead. Long story short, Wienerhead wasn't the best conversationalist and I found John far more interesting. A couple years later John proposed, and 3 years ago we got married. When John and I got married we agreed that we didn't want a big wedding, but we did want to invite the kids, as Karen always tried to exclude them and John loves his nephews and nieces and wanted them to be there. We invited 50 people total, and only 4 couldn't make it, which meant 46 came and that made up about 4 tables of people. The seating plan was decided months in advance and we talked to the parents who would be coming, pretty much just Mark and his husband and Lily and her husband, and asked how they wanted to do this. The options were basically either a table just for the kids or the kids sit with their parents, and we were fine with either option. The parents asked if we could do a kids table, bringing it to 5 tables, but have it right near where they'd be sitting with the adults, which John and I agreed to, and with the parents' help we worked out a separate kids menu for the table so they'd all eat. Lily also asked if Leo could sit at the adults' table, which we agreed to. The idea of this is that if the kids got disruptive or had any issues at any point, their parents could go over easily and get them to calm down or fix the problem. We also agreed to keep 2 chairs free at that table, so if a parent was needed they could go sit with their kids. We labeled these seats the RP seats, for rotating parent, because the parents assumed that they'd all need to take a turn in these seats at some point. About 2 weeks before the wedding we had all the in-laws around our place for dinner, when Wienerhead announces, loudly, that he's going to the bathroom. Cool. Didn't need to know that. Thanks, Wienerhead. He walks off. The layout of the flat we were in at the time meant that to get to the bathroom you had to go through the bedroom, and Wienerhead knew this, so we didn't think anything of it when Wienerhead went into our bedroom. He came out 5 minutes later, dinner resumed, we thought nothing of it. The next day we get a call from Karen. As I've said, it's been 3 years, and this was a verbal conversation, so there's some paraphrasing here. Karen, hi op, just to let you know that Dave and I won't be coming to the wedding. Me, what? You're John's parents, he wants you there. I want you there. Dave is walking me down the aisle, that is how badly we both want you to be there. Karen, you want a babysitter, which we never agreed to. Me, Karen, everyone knows you don't like kids. We would never make you the babysitter. We don't even have a babysitter. Where did you even get that from? Karen, Wienerhead saw your seating chart. He told me that your chart has 2 seats that say GP, for grandparent, right at the children's table. We will not be your babysitters. Me, it's RP, for rotating parent. Lily and Mark came up with it. It's a couple of places at the kids' table for them and their husbands to sit if one of the kids needs them. Karen, bullcrap, it's free babysitting. Wienerhead told me it said GP, so don't treat me like I'm stupid. Me, Karen, you can come over and look yourself. I'll get it out of the. I realized then that the seating chart was in the bedroom, in a folder, buried under a pile of clothes. So, did you tell Wienerhead to go through our stuff to find our wedding planning folder, or did he do that on his own? Karen, I would never do such a thing. Look, I only called to say that me and Dave aren't coming, and now I've done that, I'll leave you to sort out your new seating plan. Me, desperate because damn it we love Dave, is there any way I can fix this? Karen, yes. Get rid of the children. Or we won't come. Finally, her evil plan is revealed. Although I can't tell if she wants me to take them out of the wedding party or take them out in the assassin way. Me, I'm sorry Karen, but we want the kids there. Karen, well then we'll see you when you get back from the honeymoon. Me, deciding to call her bluff, alright, see you then. Karen. Me, bye. Karen, wait. Me, yes? Karen, the oldest one can come. The 11-year-old. Me, he's 13. And they're all coming. All 5. It's our wedding, our guest list, our seating plan. Karen, well you know how I feel about kids. They ruin everything. Me, which is why you're not sat at the kids' table. We get back from our honeymoon on date, we maybe could do lunch the week after, but we'll be busy playing catch up at work, so see you when we see you. Bye. Karen, wait. Me, yes? Karen, I'm not going to be your babysitter. Me, didn't ask you to. So we'll see you there then? Karen, sulking, yes. Me, great, see you there. 2 weeks later was the wedding, both Karen and Dave attended. Karen wore a white dress because she's a twat, and tried to change some stuff, like cake and flowers, as well as inviting 25 of her own friends, on the day before the wedding, but got nowhere. Dave was amazing and walked me down the aisle as planned. He also took a turn at the kids' table, because he loves his grandkids more than anything. It was a great day and no one even noticed Karen refusing to even look at her own grandchildren, or Wienerhead just being plain rude to them, telling them it was meant to be adults only and we didn't want them there. The kids were also very well behaved, sitting through the ceremony patiently, enjoying the food and dancing and most of all the cake. They really are great kids. In the present day, we have stopped talking to Karen and Wienerhead but remain close with Dave, Lily, Mark and the kids. Karen stays entitled and crazy, because she's worried we wouldn't recognize her otherwise, and she's done worse things since, but it's been 3 years and I still can't get over her "it's me or the kids" ultimatum. Entitled father thinks I'm not qualified for my job because his Lizzie son failed my class. So I'm a university maths teacher and every semester you'll get a few students who just put zero effort in and, surprise, surprise, they fail the subject. University policy is that if they're failing after 4 weeks of classes, we send them an early intervention email, and we tell them to come and speak to us if there's some kind of issue or extenuating circumstance that's causing the problem. Other than that, it's entirely up to the student. They're adults, they're supposed to be responsible for their own progress. So last semester I get one of these students. I reach out to him 4 weeks in and he doesn't respond. I send him a second email in week 5 strongly urging him to come and see me before he falls too far behind, and again, I get nothing back. In week 6 I give him one last chance and I offer to run him through the course material that he's missed if he just agrees to come and see me. Nothing. Fine. Your funeral. Semester ends and you're never going to believe it, he fails. A few days later I get a phone call and I'm told it's the student's dad. We'll call him entitled father. Side note, this happened a couple of months ago, so I'm paraphrasing a bit. Me, hello, this is my name. Entitled father, yes, hello, this is his name, student S father. I would like you to explain why my son failed your subject. Me, sir, your son only submitted 2 of 7 assignments and did very poorly on the exam. My records reflect that he only attended 1 of his 20 lectures and didn't view them online. I tried to reach out to him a couple of times and I encouraged him to come and speak to me but I never heard back. Entitled father, if he was doing so badly, Why weren't we informed? Me: sir, this is university, not high school. We don't reach out to parents when a student is failing. The students are supposed to be adults and we treat them as such. Entitled father: well, that's a flippin' stupid policy, isn't it? Me: sir, if you swear at me again, I'm hanging up this phone. I made every effort to help your son but he refused to accept it. It's not my fault that he failed. Entitled father: bullcrap, it's not his fault, you're an awful flipping teacher. Me: hangs up. A few days later my boss comes into my office and tells me there's been a formal complaint written about me, and that the complainant had suggested I be let go and replaced with someone more qualified. I had to provide evidence to the dean that he'd made zero effort and that I'd tried to help him. Nothing bad came of it, but it made me very angry and was a huge waste of my time. And for the record, I only taught half the subject. It's split into algebra and calculus and I, a woman, only taught the calc part. My counterpart, a man, never heard from entitled father and no complaint was written about him, despite the fact that the student well and truly failed both parts of the subject. Video on the screen tells the story. If you don't do free work for me, I will disown you, so you will not be my child anymore.